How's everybody doing? It is Tuesday night, and we are out here in the garden. Uh, Everything is looking pretty rough right now, except for what is under the greenhouse. I mean, everything under the greenhouse is doing great, honestly. Um, for those of y'all that just joined the channel, I know that some of y'all came over from Cog Hill today. Welcome to the Cog Squad. But yeah, uh, I am Destin Noack, Texas Garden Guy. You guys will probably be hearing a lot more from me. I usually do most of my stuff on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, but I've really been wanting to focus more energy on YouTube. So here I am. We are out here in the garden. I have three zones in my garden. My sprinklers are broken off, going one one line that way, one line going that way, and then I have another line that's ran to my greenhouse frame right here. If y'all can hear me all right, let me know in the chat. I don't know if y'all can. There we go. If y'all can hear me okay, let me know. But this is my greenhouse structure. This is a Shelter Logic 20 by 12 frame. In the spring, I take my tarp off so that it doesn't get damaged. Here in this part of Texas, we don't really get much cold weather, so we just need a greenhouse for like 2.5 months. Can hear you fine. Awesome. Thanks. Hey, thanks, Ray. So yeah, we take the greenhouse top off and added the shade cloth, and everything under here has been doing really well. The cucumbers are about done, but as you can see, they have been climbing up really well underneath the greenhouse. They're actually climbing on the shade cloth, which is awesome. I think next year I will probably go ahead and put cattle panels going across as well, and maybe add some loofah. I know some people have issues with loofah overloading the cattle panels, but I think with this frame, I should be okay, honestly. The tomatoes are doing good. These are all tomatoes that have been alive since the spring. I haven't tore all these up yet. I have gotten rid of some of the other ones, but these are doing really well. The shade cloth really helps out. This is a 40% shade cloth, so it's going to block 40% of the sun. I've even got my hanging baskets, some that are surviving. I got some verbenas up here. They're doing really well. These do really well in hanging baskets. And so do the portulacas. This is actually pretty cool. I don't know if y'all can see this really well, but portulacas in this peat moss basket are actually growing out of the bottom and everything. So maybe eventually this whole thing will just be covered in portulacas. If you don't have portulacas, they're not a native. There is a native version called purslane that will do really well here in Texas, but it doesn't put off these awesome flowers. And they really attract the pollinators. I always have bees all over these guys. What was the comment? I didn't see it. I can't see the chat for some reason. Oh, sorry. Something about the loofah. Yeah, loofah likes full sun. So when I was working up at the Vigo farm, a lot of the times we would walk underneath the loofah trellis, and it didn't care about the sun. It was doing like really well in full sun and did really amazing. Peppers are doing good. I got some peppers under the shade cloth, and I got some peppers outside the shade cloth. The ones that are underneath, now that it's been, I would say, probably 2 months of no rain, have really benefited my sweet potato. This is the first year I've ever done sweet potatoes before. I'll turn y'all around for this. So, oops, I hit it twice. So my sweet potatoes, that is one sweet potato plant, and it is going all the way over there. It's coming over here. It might even reseed itself in one of these pots, but it's growing out of one 3-gallon pot right here. I've never grown sweet potatoes before. You can see the blooms. They have really beautiful blooms in the early mornings. They're so cool. I've never grown sweet potatoes before. That's why I didn't do a video on them, because I figured I would fail. So usually I put my failures on blast, but I didn't want to tell anybody. I was thinking I could grow them in 3-gallon pots, but I didn't want to tell y'all wrong. I do grow my cucumbers in 3-gallon pots. As y'all can see, cucumbers and squash don't really need giant root systems. They don't have giant root systems, so you can do squash and cucumber and other stuff in smaller pots. And these have been doing really well, especially if you give them somewhere to trellis. And I found that if you trellis your cucumbers, you have a lot less issues with mildew, fungus, rot. You know, it just a lot of air, gives it airflow, especially under the shade cloth. It really allows it to flourish. So we haven't had any issues with hornworms or anything. Last year we did have some, but this year's been pretty good with hornworms. I've been on my spray routine and spray neem oil pretty often, probably about once a week, and it has really helped. I'll mix in some BT sometimes, and it really helps out with those hornworms, the squash vine borers. I actually direct seeded some squash in my raised bed over here. This is looking pretty good. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squash plants out of 10 that came up. This one's doing really well. Those are one variety, and this is, I believe, the 8-ball squash, 8-ball zucchini. You know that whole saying where all zucchini is squash, but not all squash is zucchini? Well, I get them mixed up all the time. But yeah, I just wanted to go live for a little bit, and I don't do lives on YouTube very often, but I think I'm going to start doing it more often. The bougainvilleas are doing all right. Bougainvillea don't really care if it's hot or not. They're going to bloom. These were blooming. Well, they're still blooming a little bit. These are the torch variety. And if y'all can see, this variety over here actually puts on a white flower that turns pink. And it's really cool. What I'm planning on doing is turning these bougainvilleas into more of a tree form. But I'm letting them go ahead and grow on this trellis so that I can propagate all those pieces that I have to cut off in the winter before I put them in the greenhouse. So, you know, it's kind of letting it grow, letting it do its thing. The plumerias and the adeniums are doing really good. The desert roses. Uh, it's just been so hot. It's been unbelievably hot. What is this guy right here? Oh, we got looks like an assassin bug. I can't tell. I'm always really bad with this. See if I can find it. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and tell me when it's ready. My wife is making dinner, so no. My wife is making dinner, and I've been out here in the garden. You can see the grass is not doing great, but everything else is doing pretty well. But I just wanted to give you all a quick little introduction of me. My name is Destin, Texas Garden Guy. I'm here just south of Houston, Texas. I specialize in raised bed gardening, container gardening, pot gardening, not pot, but growing in pots. I grow a lot of stuff here like cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers. We got dragon fruits this year. I don't know if y'all can see my dragon fruit hanging off over here. And I've got one over here that's actually climbing on the fence. I'm a big fig tree guy, and you know, a little bit of everything. I get distracted really easily and am very curious. So I get into a lot of different plants. So if y'all are just joining on the channel, I really appreciate y'all coming over. And maybe we'll see y'all this weekend or something. I'm off on Friday, so maybe we'll do coffee in the garden Friday morning. How does that sound? See y'all later. I can X out.